That's just, we didn't.
Thank you.
Um,
Before we open up
Okay.
the joint meeting,
But
we
it's the
have
same
select
stuff.
board, we have just a small little bit of select board business we have to take care of.
And it's good business.
It's good business, so I'll turn that over to the town manager to explain that.
So I just need select board's approval for two things. One is to approve a small communities grant that we received for $11,500 to conduct testing in the Madomic River. That was received under the small communities grant, and that will be part of the continuation. As you recall, when we had the feasibility study done, they requested more funding. They requested more testing, and you tasked us with finding funding, which we did. So it's $11,500. It's a no match grant. It's an outright grant. And that would be for testing in the Madomic. So
What do you
I
need for a motion?
just need a motion that
Sure.
you're allowing the town to accept it.
Make that motion.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the $11,000 grant for the
11,500.
Potomac River.
$11,500.
Any other discussion from the select board?
Sure.
11,500.
11,500.
11,500.
Ruben.
Ruben.
What is being tested?
So if you'll recall during the and E. coli, all of those testing parameters that they did, they said
Oh, this is a study that estimated the potential for,
the potential capacity in the river.
yes.
So we received 11,500 in funding for that. So it's a good thing.
There was a lot of unanswered questions that we had. They said, well, we need more money to do testing to be able to answer them, so that's what we did.
Any other discussion from the select board? All in favor? 5-0.
And if you read your emails today, which I hope you did, the Lincoln County had more ARPA funding available. In the amount of I think it was $150,000. And we applied for some of that funding that was returned from other towns who didn't use it. And we are going to be using it for extending three-phase power to the new proposed pump station for Glidden. And it also would extend it to Volunteers of America building at some point. Our pump station's by there, so three-phase power will now go all the way to where that lot is that we're going to be locating the new pump station. So we're $150,000 more into that project that we already received $1 million for, so.
Is Katie here to take a bow?
So we're all happy. So I just need approval to accept that before I sign that we're accepting it.
I make that motion to approve the 150,000.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Hey, we do get money. That's free sometimes.
We'll let us call the budget committee meeting to order. Okay. Before we get started, I just want to give a quick update. Me and my exciting life that I have. When we left here on Monday, I got home and I turned on the RSU 40 meeting because that, like I mentioned on Monday, they were meeting Monday to discuss their budget for the upcoming year. Just a couple notes and interim school superintendent posed a budget to the school board. He's leaving us or leaving the district in interim in July. And he very well could have easily just done a carte blanche. Here's your budget, we're just gonna do the same as last year, plus give you an increase. But he's done a very detailed study on what RSU needs, doesn't need. And he proposed a plan to the school board. It's a pretty aggressive plan in some ways. $111,060, with the 5.6% increase over last year. That includes some reduction in 13 staff members, plus some other changes. And also, we got to keep in mind too, is they're also working on a bond high school renovation for just under 25 million. I encourage everyone, if you haven't seen it, go on to the RSU 40's YouTube page and kind of watch these presentations because we detailed presentation. And once again, we've invited them to come and hopefully the business manager has been invited to come. Email I saw from the superintendent to get her to come out and give us a presentation. They don't have to have it. Something in the back of your head that we're going over, but
Hopefully they don't do it before. Few weeks before voting.
right, and they'll have, after the school board goes through their budget, just like us, they'll go through it. They'll vote on it, then they'll go to public hearing, and this gives everyone an opportunity to get up and see that as well.
Yes.
Okay, where do we start? Looks like we're gonna start with rec department.
New page.
Sir? Mark is all dressed up for us.
See that? See more.
Scott, can you hear us? We don't see you. He might have his. There he is. Look at him. He's at the Golden Gate Bridge, so he must be able to hear us. I'm gonna move him up to the very corner.
Here, Brendan,
Thank you.
he's not here.
For years.
Brendan is like. It's in recovery.
Now it's trying to come back.
My hand's full right now. Everybody got
Let me gavel up here. That's a bad idea. Yeah. Say we're gonna.
good. Okay, they're gonna.
All right, ready, Marcus?
Yeah, whenever everybody's ready.
We got Marcus Benner. Recreation Director.
Yeah, so I just have a small PowerPoint, kind of keep myself organized. So we'll start with that tonight. Whoop, too quick. So budget overview, this is just talking about my 620 budget that's in the book that you guys received. So my general fund budget increased just over $4,000 this year. Basically happened on two lines, and cost of living increase and health benefits. The operating expenses that I kind of have the control over stayed flat. Nothing really changed for the year. So that's kind of the gist. Not a whole. Like to hear about my enterprise account, so that is kind of the remainder of this. So the enterprise account had a net profit this year of just over $4,000. If you were on the board last year, remember our conversations, that's down quite a bit. Last year, we had a very profitable year. This year, it was not the case. $10 in revenue and $92,399.44 in expenses. The big sheets I gave you are my enterprise account reports over the last 3 years. So the first one, it's a front and back. It'll show you my income on one side and my expense and totals on the other. And then the next two reports. I know as a town, we tend to work in fiscal years, but It really does not work well for rec departments. The fiscal year lapses July 1, and that's in the middle of my summer camp. So at that point, I've brought in a good bit of registration money. So it kind of muddies the waters when you're looking at reports, whereas January 1 has a pretty natural breaking point for me. Most of my programs wrap up right before Christmas, and then January 1, new stuff kicks off. So a lot of the stuff I'm about to talk about are in a calendar year, just for your info. So the reason only 4,000 in profit this year was kind of twofold. Summer camp was the number one factor in that. Summer camp cost $18,890.46 more to run this year than in 2024. Two reasons for that, two big ones. Well, it was an increase of just over 9,000 in busing. In 2024, we were fortunate enough to in 2025, so I was forced to use loose transportation. They are fantastic. Ben and the guys over there do a great job, but they're a business and they need to make money. And so it was a significant increase in busing. And then my staffing went up about 6,500. Minimum wage goes up every year, and so the rest of my staff has to go up as well to kind of keep that trend. And then we increased staff a little bit as the summer went on, just to kind of help ease the ease of operation for the summer camp. Oops, okay. Didn't know if that was what that was. Just to make it run smoothly and give our campers the best experience possible. I've talked about this in the past. I think this was our 4th or 5th year as a full day summer camp. And every year that we've had a full day summer camp, it's been a little different. So we're still working on finding our common footing with the summer camp. The second reason some of those profits weren't the same as last year, we increased a lot of free programming. In 2024, we added the summer movie series where we had 3 or 4 out. 2025, we added 2 more big ones. They had very different weather. I know there are many of you that were in this room that were there for our first ever Power Wheels race. We call it Power because copyright infringement. I tried to get Power Wheels race on the t-shirts and the printer said no. So now we're on to Power Wheels. If you talk to people that were there that day, they don't even remember the rain. It was a blast of a day. And it cost the 22 kids $0 to participate. Every kid got a t-shirt, every kid got a trophy, and they ripped around on that track, having the time of their lives. And I think the adults had more fun.
We had more fun. I'm gonna tell you, I was there. We had more fun. John was the MC and the flag waver. We had a ball.
It's a great time.
One kid even won a free car.
Yeah, we raffled off a Power Wheels thing. Yep. Power. It's, I mean, I don't want to skip way ahead, but that Power Wheels. And then in October, we had the best day of the fall for our first ever Fall Fest. We had Taco Joe food truck on site, 2 bounce houses, games, music, caramel apples. I got a picture of that somewhere too. Might be it was a delicious time. And you'll see later. Possible to tell with people coming and going, but I got numerous comments all fall of how great a day that was. It was like a mini Waldoboro day in the fall with the better weather, and there were no vendors. It was just all kids stuff, and everybody seemed to have a good time. And again, 100% free to the public. These are my numbers for 2025. Again, this is a little bit estimated because the Fall Fest like at 300, and I don't always know who's out there using the ice rink and so on. We had K2 basketball. That was I'm pretty sure it was the largest numbers in program history. Definitely the largest since I've been there. 63 kids in just the 3 grades for $855 throughout the year. That's not unique individuals, but there's repeat customers there, but we definitely had 855 pickleball players. Power Wheels race, I mentioned we had 22, girls volleyball 20. Summer rec, we've had 60 kids, unique kids, the last 2 years. PDG. That had 150, again, individual players, not unique. Youth soccer, we had 127 kids, K to 6. That's probably one of the biggest programs we run because it involves 7 different grade levels. Adult softball, 225. Ball Fest I mentioned. Summer movies. We're looking at going back to Bar Harbor this year. It'll be the first time I've ever repeated a trip. But anytime we go to Bar Harbor, we fill the bus. So I want to get back to those days. Ice rink 20, ski club 15, Marion Bright, and community yard sale. We had 8 and 9 different households. So overall, 2,028 individuals were served in 2025, which is the most since I've been here. So back to kind of the enterprise account and what it's all about. We got some new faces. My enterprise account is my revenue account that all revenues that come in through programming are deposited. Revenues stay in that account and are reinvested directly into programming, staffing, and equipment. So, for example, right now I opened up registrations for summer camp. That money is going into that enterprise account come summer when it's time to start paying for staff and field trips and all that. The money will come back out of there. The vast majority of all rec departments in the state use an enterprise account. The ones who do not are the big cities like Bangor. Bangor's rec budget is like 3.6 million a year. We are not the same. So most, if not all, of the smaller towns around use the same enterprise account. And the small sheet I handed out is something that Julie put together that kind of explains what an enterprise account is and how it works together with the general fund account. An enterprise account serves 3 main purposes: flexibility, stability, and long-term capital planning. Just to go over those a little bit. Flexibility, the main point of that is that this account carries over fiscal year. I know I've mentioned it already I bring in all my money for summer camp in the spring. If my revenues were taken July 1, I wouldn't be able to pay for summer camp after that. Like I said, fiscal years just don't seem to work really well for rec departments. So that the rollover of this account really makes things possible. It allows me to adjust if the revenue is still there in that account, I can add staff, add field trips, do what I need to do to make sure we can accommodate all the kids that want to come to summer rec. I don't have to turn kids away. And the same thing, if we lose them, we don't get that much, then we're not on the hook for the whole budget because the money is already in there. And it allows me to add the free programming. We were able to add 2 major free events for the public. Stability, 2025 was the perfect example of that. Like I said, summer rec did not do as well. But due to the balance that we had in the enterprise account, we were able to keep summer rec exactly the same. The kids did not notice one bit of difference, and we were able to add that free programming. Long-term capital planning is what I'd like to get into with this. It's not something we've been able to do previously. But what I would like to do, and I've talked to Julie and Peg about this, is to set a number for January 1 each year for the account balance of the enterprise account. What I would like is that every January 1, there's $60,000 in that account. So if come January 1 next year, I have 75,000 in there, we could transfer 15,000 into a capital fund and set that aside for future rec projects. And that obviously that would not burden the tax. And with the Madomic River Community Park, as well as the community center that we've been talking about for a few years now. I know we've already accepted grant money for both to help start those projects. A capital for the rec would only help maintain them once we actually get them built, kind of the hope. So that, in summary, the budget that we're here to talk about tonight, like I said, is flat, just a little increase at the top. The enterprise account is doing what it's meant to do. I can't ask for any more. The department is serving an increased number of residents each year, and the capital account for the department seems like a logical next step. So. Open it up for any questions? Yeah.
Couple things. So your increase is pretty much has to do with salary.
Yeah.
And benefits, understandable.
Yep.
Everyone's salary benefits. Concern I have is you haven't put any money aside or in the budget towards you're maintaining your fields as far as your buildings, your playground, stuff up at the rec field. Are we in need of any maintenance up there?
So
Cost us?
under the land maintenance is you don't have it, but that land maintenance number is a number that includes more like I have more lines in that, and you get a little bit of a condensed version. There's
Dollars in there for like building
Built-
painting.
yeah,
that sort of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Parts of
There's,
the
when I send it in, it's like painting, supplies, all this stuff. There's a section in there that's set aside for projects like that. The dugout doors need to be replaced. It's been the fall wind kind of did them in. The playground needs some wood chips, but other than that, it's in great shape.
I know we talked about putting some lighting up there. At some point,
Yeah,
like some lights on the building. to go out and-
oh, yeah. Yeah, I looked into that last year. It was much more expensive than I anticipated. And I was where we were gonna place them, I was worried about the glare. Cause we were gonna put them on the concession stand, and they were gonna face the field. So I hadn't thought about that since last fall when I got the pricing for it.
And I don't think parking lot could
So
need
we
some maintenance
have
there, cause it's pretty rough.
indicated-
and
Yeah.
that's something we'll come- Work directors here, how would you fix that? That's gonna cost some money.
Yeah, they bring in a little bit of dirt every year, the middle where some of that reclaim stuff's getting pulled up a little bit, but
You don't, I don't see anything on here.
Page 44. And this
Some point we gotta do it.
fence.
yeah, for sure.
Grounds maintenance to need to be done. It's part of the $8,250 of land maintenance.
Correct. Yeah,
But it doesn't include some of the things that John was just saying that.
correct. Yeah, there's nothing in there for the driveway. And nothing for lighting. So, but to fix the dugout doors need to be replaced.
Have we abandoned the idea of using RSU 40 bus in a future year?
No, I'm trying. I try every year.
Okay,
Yeah, I put in a personal request for a certain driver this year. I'm hoping that works out. but-
okay. Stevens.
Yeah.
if you get desperate.
Michael,
Thank you for the presentation and nice work.
thank you.
Two questions. One is, why do you think there was a decrease in number of participants in summer camp this year?
There wasn't. We had 60 this year and last.
So
There was
did not say it wasn't full, or?
It was full.
There was some difference. There wasn't, you said the kids didn't notice any difference.
Yeah, I didn't change anything. We didn't make the same amount of money because the busing was so high and the staffing. So I knew at the end of the year I wasn't gonna make what I'd made the previous year
Okay, so
because
it wasn't full.
basically because of the busing. We were full. There's a point where we could reopen. So right now my max is 45 kids. If I get to 70, I'm gonna open 2 camps. I'll find another gym in the district and I'll
So
open.
what's the demand? You're not turning anyone away?
I haven't turned anybody away yet.
But you're gonna grow each year.
We're growing each year. I haven't had to turn anybody away yet. I expect it in the next year or two. And at some point, 45 is the most I can get on a bus with my staff to get to these field trips. So I would have to get to like 60 or 70 kids to make it worth it for 2 camps, but I'm not, if we get there, I'm gonna try. I'd have to hire more staff. That's what this account allows, the flexibility.
Okay, so that's exciting growth. My next question would just be, where do you see the most exciting change or growth happening in the program overall? You definitely added elements over
Yeah.
the years. So what do you want to add more, or are you most excited about?
Yeah, so I'm really happy with where we're at. We're up to 16 programs. The mission statement of the rec department is to provide quality recreation for all age levels. And I think we do a pretty good job of that. We have a lot of stuff for kids. We have the adult activities. We do the senior bus trip. If there's places I can add, it's probably a little more senior programming. I know I have the senior bus trip. Pickleball is adult and senior. It's probably mostly senior. I'd say the one area we lack is middle and high school kids. Once they get out of K6 soccer and so on, they go and they start playing middle school sports. And so the schools kind of take on the brunt of that. So I kind of lose the kids at that point. So I've been working with my rec committee. We're working on finding a way to get in the schools and do some stuff with the middle and high school kids. And trying to, we're not gonna be able to do this, do sports, but if we did like a game night or an intramural type sport, something to serve the area that we're missing. But we're pretty excited that we're doing well with all 3 major groups, just missing a subsection. Kelly?
Can you refresh my memory, the summer camp, is that limited to children who are residents of Waldeboro or?
No. Residents. We used to give priority to just residents. They had first priority, but when it went to the full day, it got too hard. Like if someone from out of town signs up now, I mean, they're looking for childcare. So I can't come to them June 1st and say, hey, I know you've been signed up for 3 months, but I just got enough Waldeboro. So we open it to everybody. We just charge more for non-residents as opposed to the residents.
And you said that if you get up to 75 kids
Yeah.
enrolling, that you
Yeah.
would split it into 2 camps. Does that increase your cost?
Yeah, I would have to hire more staff, double busing, all that, but I would have the kids there to pay for it.
Okay. Is not a problem because it pays for itself,
Correct.
except
Yeah.
last year it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't, but the other, like I said, it's all there. The other programs summer rec over the years has not made money. The last 3 years, it's done very well. Right. This past year, it kind of dipped back down. So I've upped my prices for this year, which is a tentative thing because if you up them too much, you don't get the kids to sign up. And then if you lose just 1 or 2 kids, it makes up for that whole price increase that you had. So I went just a little bit to try to make up for the staffing increase, and hoping we can get.
Scale fees for the.
We offer scholarships for people that request them.
You have like a limited number, I guess that number above that you can't.
No.
And
It's
are you
filled,
finding more people are using the scholarships?
yeah, I would say so.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's through the Philbrook
We
Fund.
run it through the Philbrook Fund.
Well, I'm a huge fan. Have served more individuals in this past year than you say you've done in the years that you've been here. It's a huge marketing plus for Waldeboro to bring people in when you've got a healthy rec committee and you've got someone who's obviously as enthusiastic about it as Marcus is. So I'm gonna fangirl all over you here, but you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Becky?
Have you looked at your numbers of athletes that are like that 6th grade soccer?
I don't have,
I know
That-
you don't have them on you,
yeah.
but I mean, my thought is, it's a pretty big program. Obviously, I'm there watching the number of teams you have
yeah,
going.
I see
right?
you every night of the fall.
I know. So I guess, you said you would not run sports programs at the middle school or high school level, but I am curious about intramurals.
Yep.
Because if you have, I can't make any numbers up here. Well, I
Yeah.
guess I have to sort of illustrate.
Yeah, we
what I'm
had, we
saying,
had,
but
we
if
had
you
two
have
fifth and sixth teams last year of
Right.
about 10, 12 kids, so.
a select 15 to be on the team, now you've got 10 kids who actually enjoy soccer, who
Right.
could keep moving
Yeah.
if there was some intramural, and you probably would get others to join, so that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the idea. I know that that creates a problem with gym space and all that, but I love.
That was the
idea of
issue when we looked into it the
intramural
first time.
sports For kids who enjoy the sport, but are not gonna go on to play at the high school
Right.
level.
Yeah.
Down the line. 'Cause
Yeah.
those numbers just dwindle.
And I know the school does provide some intramurals. I don't know if they do soccer or not, but I know they do
Right, yeah,
some.
it's
So
just-
we started this process last summer and I talked with Matt and Linda at the high school and they were on board, great idea. And then it was like, great, can I get oh.
Well.
I have football, I have 4 soccer team, like,
Right.
you know, 6
Yeah.
soccer teams. You just didn't have the space for me, so. And I kind of wanted to meet the kids where they were at the school and just have them be able to stay after school, get picked
Right.
up there. So maybe it'll have to be a different timing instead of just right after school because the facilities just aren't there.
Right.
But, or just a different time of year, but it's something we haven't given up on yet.
Someone else have something? Question on your website.
Yep.
32.95, is that all for the?
That's
website?
all for the website.
Okay.
Yep. They offer a website, basically. It has online registrations.
Lots of towns use it,
Yeah.
like rec departments, so that's like a one-stop shop for everything that Marcus could do.
Yeah.
It's portable.
Yeah.
You could book, people can sign up, make an account, it's pretty nice, and even
So
has a
you-
lot of accounts.
I have a different program I have fallen in love with for scheduling and I have yet to fiddle with it. But I don't do a ton. Soccer, I do a schedule for and adult softball. But the rest of it, there's not as much scheduling anymore. But I think it does have a fee or a program.
Do they, is that a flat rate?
Yeah, it based on revenue. So
Up
if
to a certain
up to a
amount?
certain amount, and if I bring in, it's only through that, like I bring in a lot of my, that 96,000 I mentioned doesn't come through my rec, when I go to pickleball every 2 times a week, they pay cash, so that stuff just gets cash receipted out front, and that's the flat fee, so it's waldeboroRec.com, you create an account, all my programs that are open are listed there, you can go in and read about them, click on it. So, select your t-shirt size, sign the waiver, pay with a credit card, and you're done.
You do it
So-
from the town's website, right?
It's linked.
It's
Yeah,
linked,
it's linked.
yeah, it's linked. Yep, can't register online. I can, I kind of still force them to register online. The town has a tablet that I have, and so if they call me and say, hey, my phone's not working, or I don't have a computer, they can come in, and I get them set up on my tablet, I get them set up with an account and register right through there. And if they want to pay
I was wondering
cash,
About the website.
oh,
If there's
sorry.
an Alternative to this website.
There's other websites like it, if that's what you're asking.
And are they comparable?
Yes. Yeah. As far as I know, I only researched a couple of them when I first started. My rec is used by like a majority of the state. Brunswick uses Civic, I think, but
Civic is more expensive.
is it? Yeah, so that's the other one that I know about is Civic, and it was more expensive. So, and they have, I can't remember if it's like 8 AM, I don't know, anytime I have an issue, I call them, someone answers, and I say, hey, this is Marcus from Waldeboro, and before I can get my next sentence out, they're like, oh yeah, I see you're trying to add a program here, like something here, and they get me all squared away because you're building a website, it's not coding, but you got to click a lot of boxes to get stuff right at times, so they have great customer service. And I have our main Parks and Rec conference in a couple weeks, and they are always there asking for our feedback, asking for, giving us what they updated for the year. Been really impressed with them over the last couple of years.
And when you're dealing with parents, it's good to have a good, support.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't complain. Everybody I've dealt, I get people like, hey, I can't seem to get this registration. I'll call them back and say, okay, what's going on? And have, I've been able to walk most people through it and they've been pretty understanding. And the hardest part is getting the account set up. Once they have the account set up right, it's literally just K2 soccer, register for Cora, T-shirt size, youth large, sign the waiver, enter your credit card and done. Like
Does
it's,
it give you stat, the extension of that is, that Cora signed up last year,
yep,
but you haven't seen her sign up.
Yep.
Can you
I
do an
can,
email
I can email blast I email blast all the
Yeah,
accounts, like
great,
the
yeah.
day,
So
uh,
It's like a contact management.
Yep.
Sauce.
yeah, I can text blast, email blast, all of it. We opened our summer camp registrations on March 1st. I sent out an email that day. Hey, summer camp registration is open. Here's the link, the whole
Because your
thing.
repeat customers are your best customers.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And it's the easiest way to get information out. I put it out on Facebook, but you never know who's gonna see it. So
Yeah.
I don't know how many accounts. I don't know how many accounts we're up to, but it's great to get it out there. It really works well.
Quick question, you're still residing up in the Public Works garage, how's that working?
It's great. Yeah, me and Will are best buds. We kicked Daigle out. So, no, it works really well, especially with the MyRec that I have now. Before when I was out front at the window, it was convenient, people coming in to paper register. Now that I have the website, I don't have the need for people to come see me. So it gives me the freedom to be up there, get my work done, not be out at the front window with people asking me how to register their cars. And then I'm up there, I help with a lot of the mowing in the summer, I always have, so. Yeah. Right, I need, all that. It's easier to put a bug in Will's ear. And if
I
he,
think they use him occasionally for some of their tasks,
yeah, once in a while,
once in a while. He goes back to his public works stint.
so, yeah, it's been going well, I'm happy.
Move 107-245 for the rec department of the select board.
Second.
Discussion on that? My vote will simply be my concern with your meeting.
Okay.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, we got 107-245 for recreation. Get a motion. Second. Any more discussion, questions? All those in favor? Yeah. Are you a yay? All those opposed? Scott, were you a yay? 9-0.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.
Yeah, we lost the audio for a minute there. Maybe my connection.
Well, I know someone that works at Spectrum.
Good one.
You cover San Francisco? Okay, next we're going to jump into emergency management service. And that is page 15.
That way, I'm not blocking you.
You're not blocking me. I'm perfectly
All
fine.
right.
I can be your
Okay.
clickers.
All right. Let me know when you're all ready.
Ready?
You good?
All right.
Do it.
Well, thanks for having me. So much like Marcus, before I dive into the overall budget stuff, I do have a report. Mine was kind of done. I think it was last year. We did like a end of the year sort of report based on how the calendar year went for the service and our operations and calls and that sort of stuff. So this PowerPoint does deal a little bit with the budget towards the end, but I'll just kind of breeze through the first several slides that talk about how things went for us in 2025 calendar year. So if anybody has any questions, just stop me, and we can talk about that. So ready when you are. So, in terms of call volume, we were down approximately 90 calls. We sort of anticipated that being the case, because, our neighbors in Warren, improved dramatically their staffing, which is good for them. They rely on us, as you know, quite heavily for paramedic intercept services and mutual aid. But in 2025, again, something that 90 call difference is quite literally within that change in staffing for them. Excuse me. We covered about 17.
Go back,
Yep,
sorry.
1,766 calls. One thing that stayed consistent was the transfers. We do over 400 transfers a year. So. We bill a lot and try to get what we can, so. Go ahead.
Oh, no, bad, it's there.
So again, just it kind of indicates what we did over the last few years. Staffing trends. This is an important slide because it talks about the level of service that we're able to provide around the clock. As you can see, we have a plethora of paramedics, which is the highest license level one can achieve in EMS. We're very lucky to have across the clock, 24 hours a day, two medics on at least. During the week, Monday through Thursday, I'm in the office that automatically puts a third paramedic here. So we are able to provide that level of service really effectively. Next. Full-time staffing stayed the same. Several years, as you can see, we've gone to a more full-time staff, again, just to allow us to cover those calls. Transfers, sometimes we get questions about where we're taking transfers from. Primarily, we do a lot more transfers out of Miles. And Penn Bay have made some changes over the last couple of years with how they contract their transfer services. Maine Health actually provides a service that does interfacility transfers. So they're responsible primarily, at least on first refusal, for those transfers out of Penn Bay. Whereas Miles keeps, excuse me, Waldoboro and CLC and Booth Bay as their primary adjunct for providing those services. So again, we try to stay loyal. I shouldn't say loyal, but we try to stay prioritized to Miles because of that. We want to keep that Maine Health system sort of out of Miles. We've had many, I'll refer to as a third floor administrative meeting with Miles saying we Waldoboro, Jefferson, et cetera, and CLCs when they can't take them. So Miles has been really good and supportive of that goal. And so it benefits both parties. They're not waiting for an ambulance. We're not waiting for, transfers to come in that aren't going to come. So as you can see, 2025 was no exception. We did several more transfers out of Miles and Penn Bay. So this is a responses to towns that are in our primary response area. So for context, we are primarily responsible for Waldoboro, Jefferson, and Friendship. The state of Maine licenses us in those towns as the right around 800 calls a year. Jefferson, around 200 and Friendship around 120, 130. Friendship actually had a little bit of an up year. This is where we get into our mutual aid responses. I will give a disclaimer here that we do respond. Bristol, South Bristol, et cetera. There's like 9 towns there. But we do a primary workload of mutual aid in Warren and Union. Union got a second truck in 2024. So obviously a decrease in responses to Union's coverage area in 25. Warren. So for context, we're responding to Warren as much as we're responding to Jefferson, which is actually in our primary response area. This is relevant to budget and operation because in EMS, we focus on how quickly we can get out the door from the time the tone drops, to the time we're out the door. So this is kind of a busy chart, but basically to just sort of throw it out there. This red is 0 to 1 minute from the time we're dispatched out the door. And as you can see, we are well within that parameter. And they go into our reporting system, and that's where that data comes from. So again, speaks to our staffing changes, having people in the building 24 hours a day, full-time staff here, you know, it's a very important part of how we render aid in this community. Next slide. And this is basically to play off on that, how fast it takes us or how long it takes us to get there. So out the door time leads to better response time, leads to better service. The list goes on, how effective it is to have full-time staff here in our station. So we're mostly in that, 5 to 10 minute response time. And there's some variables at play here, I have to break that down between 911 call and transfer. We're going to drive 20 minutes to Miles or half an hour to Penn Bay for transfers. So I have to pull that data out and not include that. That is primarily 911 calls. And obviously we cover a lot of distance, so that's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
Are those calls just to Waldeboro?
These calls are 911 calls to everywhere in our coverage area plus mutual aid in 2025.
Jefferson?
Yep, correct.
Oh,
So that's why you get the averages. I mean, we are gonna be, in the green 10 to 15 minutes sometimes to somewhere like Jefferson. But again, going back a slide, talking about getting out the door, you're good. Talking about getting out the door in a reasonable amount of time helps us in this realm.
Yeah.
So. So these are just some fun facts. U-94 was our busiest ambulance for the second year in a row. It's also our oldest, so that will become relevant in budget conversation. It responded to 638 calls for survey. So for reference, take Warren, for example, they do about 800 calls a year. So that truck responds to just shy of what Warren responds to as a total service. So
why do you use that more?
well, we don't use it more. I think it's rotation. So we rotate them through. So I think it's just luck of the draw that it happens to be in that first due primary slot for the busiest times of the year. We rotate them monthly. So I keep an eye on that. So like, for instance, that truck was so busy earlier or later in the year last year that it took a little hiatus from that first due roll in the first of 2026 and it's set. So just because I got to keep the miles off of it. So Monday is our busiest day of the year. 16% of our responses happen on Monday. Our primary response area was responsible for 61% of our call volume. If you think about primary response, I put that in there because you would think it'd be the bigger number than 61%, but we just do a lot of mutual aid. So Most common dispatch reason 2025 was sick person. It's kind of a catch-all for, people that have illness and injury and don't have a specific complaint or doesn't fall over another catch area. We started 815 successful IVs in 2025. Did 563 EKGs. We performed a total of 2,742 medical interventions and we gave so I like this one. We gave aspirin 86 times in 25 for a total of 27,864 milligrams of aspirin. So this is kind of the meat and potatoes of this slideshow. It talks about our fleet. This is our newest unit, Unit 93, that was placed in service the first of the fiscal year, so July 1 of 25. Currently has a mileage of about 21 or 2,000. It's a Ford on a Type 1 Trauma Hawk, and it features our power load system that we rave about. So Unit 92, you're gonna like this trend. Unit 92 is our second newest unit. Something important to talk about was those of you that have been around for these conversations, this was the first of this replacement was the first of 2 trucks we ordered from AEV. And because of the industry delays, we had to cancel that one of those trucks. So the last truck was the first one we had ordered, and we ended up canceling our second one. So in a hurry, Autotronics from Bangor was able to hook us up with this one. And we actually used some main EMS grant funding to offset the price increase. Again, $325,000 truck gave us a really good deal on it. It should have been more than that. But we got some good trade-in on our other one. And it all worked out. So that truck is actually the favorite of our crew. Our crew really likes that truck.
How's the new 450s holding up?
So this is 94. The oldest of our trucks, again, the busiest of our trucks the last year or two. So it's got 175,000. That's going up literally as we speak. It's on a transfer from Penn Bay to Maine Med right now. Right, so our estimated replacement for that truck is 2029 to 2030. I think as part of this budget conversation, especially when it comes to capital, it may be brought up that we try to do it a little sooner, depending on grant funding deadlines and timelines and such. So that's that. The fly car was purchased on a grant that's in service, doing a great job for me in my role meetings, for one, but also more importantly, EMS responses to Warren. It's staffed with it's stocked with a monitor, some meds, that sort of stuff. So that was placed in service last year, purchased fully on a grant. Again, there's some downtime. We are covering Madonic Valley sporting events primarily right now with the assistance of some athletic trainers from different schools when they're available. But we are responsible for standing by at technically all of their events because they don't currently have an athletic trainer assigned to their staff. So our crews spend a lot of time covering sporting events. Madomic. Again, CPR trainings is something we do. We assist in public services such as Christmas and Thanksgiving programs. We really take a lot of pride in delivering baskets and that sort of stuff when those times come around. So, and we drink a lot of coffee. So, budget talk. I will tell you these are a little skewed because this was made in preparation for an end of the year report as opposed to a March budget meeting. But at any rate, kind of where we stand in relation to current year. You know, $2 million operating budget, over $1 million in revenue. Kind of stayed consistent over the last few years. Anybody have any questions on that right now? Yep.
You mentioned
Thank you.
helping the high school out.
Yep.
Trust me, I believe we need to be helping them out.
Yep.
They don't have a trainer, but they're budgeting for a trainer.
Correct.
Are we getting reimbursed for that?
They are, so our employees get paid special detail rate, so they get paid time and a half, sort of incentivize them signing up for that. In excess.
So on the
Charging them for their wages plus
Plus
all of the
benefits,
costs.
plus the benefits, right? So our
Right now.
costs, right?
But we're not charging them for a rig sitting out there.
We don't even, sometimes we don't even send a rig. So,
We talk about that like every year,
yeah,
you know.
do that. And the reason I want to help them, like you said, the difference between and people in this room that have any sort of medical training could tell you, we are not athletic trainers. We have a different skill set, different training, different protocols. So we're sort of just a safety net so that area liability. So Matt and I have that conversation rather frequently about where our limitations are in terms of providing that service. So
You're not there to wrap ankles.
100%. 100%. That's the exact reference I use. We're not wrapping ankles. We're there if somebody gets hurt, which the truth is we always would be,
Would be
right? We just tell them, sorry, you're going to have to call 911 if you need something. But I think there is some pressure from the MPA, the KVAC. I don't want to speak to Matt's rules and regulations, but I think there's some pressure that they have somebody there. And we always have covered the football games in addition to a trainer. So,
That was my number one question.
Yeah.
I know that they budget,
yes,
we're paying
Yes.
for it already.
yeah.
So
Correct. So we are getting, again, like Peg said, our costs to do it, we're getting
Okay.
covered. Yep.
So how does that work in the budget here? Does the cost of the employees come out of this line here? And then you have revenue?
So it's just a payroll thing. It's a payroll thing and then they reimburse us. So
It's in both sides. It's in expense and revenue.
it'd be in the
But it's
revenue side.
it's in here, not a separate account.
Correct.
Okay.
Everything's in the EMS account.
next slide.
That's where I'm at. I anticipated you.
Oh. I think continue. What do we?
Did I go the wrong
You went the
way?
wrong way.
A little more money discussion?
There we go. A little more money discussion. So, again, previously mentioned, some of this is capital discussion, which I know we'll get to. The congressional direct spending grant is the big topic for us in terms of we haven't seen the money yet, but $350,000 towards an ambulance replacement. When we first applied for that, in no uncertain terms, that would have covered the full cost of an ambulance. Now it's going to be a little shy, but it will make a really, really healthy dent in replacing an ambulance. So that's kind of the big topic. Again, when it comes to payroll and that sort of thing, paramedic level coverage remains our standard and we continue to do that. So. Summary, we hosted an EMS open house in May. I don't think we're set up for it this year. We just have been very busy with other things, but and we just want to thank you all for your support and that's that. So more budget stuff. And this will open up the conversation for the operations talk tonight. We're looking at an overall 3% wage increase across the board for our employees. I did a rather extensive wage study this year in preparation for this conversation, sort of reached out to places far and wide within the state, and from Damascotta to Aroostook County. And I think the 3% increase from where we're at now sort of keeps us in that competitive range, especially since we offer such an extensive benefits package and mainstay retirement. So that's going to be the biggest, increase. Like any department, wage plays a huge role, and wage and benefits plays a huge role in the increase. EMS operating expenses, uniforms, trainings, licenses, supplies, just some slight increase. I think we're up like 8%, something like that, maybe even less than that. for frequently utilized materials. We are gonna look into a online CH platform. Our crews are required to maintain their licenses, and it requires continuing education hours. There's so many great online platforms now that we can tailor to our needs as a service, depending on what we find in our QA/QI processes. If we're missing, if we have a shortcoming on, IV skills or monitor rhythm interpretation, that sort of stuff. So that's in the budget this year to pay for that online platform so that our crews can get their CHs and they come. We'll do hands-on training as well, but this is just another. Crews seem to like having an assignment. We can assign something, hey, complete this training by such and such a date, and they'll go from there. So
How much is your training per person costs for a year?
that's a great question. So it depends on license level. Different certifications outside of the norm. So I really, to be honest with you, Val, I haven't broken it down, what it costs, per. To be honest with you, the professional license remains the responsibility of the provider. Courses so that they can keep that up. It doesn't cost them any money. So, we budget a certain amount to have stipend for training when they come to a Tuesday night training. It's like an hour worth of pay. So, that comes out to, who knows what the exact number is.
So another way at that question would be, so when the ambulance leaves here, what's it staffed with? Meaning, what level of trained personnel do you feel is the minimum that it has to go out the door with?
So the minimum we'll put on an ambulance is an EMT. Our standard here in Waldoboro is that a medic goes.
If you have them.
We have them. So I would say a 911 call safely 95% of the time a medic is going on that truck.
So what's the annual training cost of a paramedic?
The annual training costs. So they do their initial training. A paramedic class can cost anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000, right?
That's the initial training.
Correct. So annually, if they do it right, it doesn't cost them a dime. We pay for it.
What's the cost of town?
Well, we budget for about $10,000 or $11,000 to do everything. And that covers it. Which is on a 2-year cycle.
That includes EMT.
Correct.
So we don't have this, we can't get to this,
I mean, I could do the math. I could break it down for you.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, but
I just was trying to.
yeah, but I mean, we
Just
put
trying to
in,
help.
we put in, about $11,000 worth of covers every monthly training we do, which is just shy of 12. We take 1 month off in the summer. That allows me to send people off to specialized schools if there's one available. Now, if there was going to be a $5,000 or $6,000 school someone wanted to go to, we'd have to come at that a different angle. But in terms of general upkeep, our budgeted, $11,000 keeps everybody trained.
Your roster's like about 30.
About 30, 35, yeah. Yep.
That's gonna be my question.
So, yeah,
So that would be,
Yep.
I was just gonna do the math real quick for you.
So
So that's like $300 a person.
Yeah, that's
to
totally.
do- to do.
and that keeps them,
So you're down 90 calls this year. Do you see a trend?
well, interestingly enough, we're up about 22 calls as of today from this time last year, from January 1 to March 5th. So I think we're trending back up, but it's hard to know. I would say that in terms of overall call volume, I think we'll stay. We might go back up 90 calls, we might come down. I don't think we'll go down another 90 calls. Let's put it
What
that
was
way.
the biggest year you've had?
The biggest year that actually the biggest year that that we've had, and I was chief, I think it was 2023. We were about 1,900, just shy.
And so it's not a, you know,
There's not a huge, exactly,
percentage wise,
stays pretty stable, yeah.
is that a statistic for population? I mean, is there some stat that, you know, you're gonna get X number of
Calls
calls
per
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 population?
capita, probably,
Okay.
yep. The state, the state EMS website actually provides a lot of really cool data on ambulance services and their calls in certain areas and how many they respond to, and
So from a staffing standpoint, we pretty not much know where we gotta be.
100%. Yep.
Just the costs are crazy.
And bear in mind, there's so many variables in this, so as you see healthcare change in the area, you're probably going to see that people can't afford to go here or there, they'll call 911. So you kind of saw some of that over the years, if you go back and look. You know, they're gonna find their healthcare somewhere. And a lot of times that's a call to
Yeah,
911.
we end up, it's no, slight on anybody, but we do become the catch-all for those
Well,
types
you're
of
the
things.
point of last resort.
Mhm.
1,800, how many ever calls it was? That's rigs out the door, or do you count?
Great
How do you
question.
count a call if
Great-
you have?
great
two
question.
Rigs leave for one car accident?
Anything that generates a run report. So that's a great question. So if we have a call where we take, like you said, a 2-car MVA, patient transport would dictate a separate run report. But say we put 2 trucks on the road and we only transport 1 patient, that's
One,
1 call.
so it's transport.
That patient, that second patient will be attached to that same report. They'll have a separate documentation, but it's not technically a generating, so
And if you go out to that same MBA and both people decline transport,
it's 1 call.
What percentage of your calls are eligible for Medicaid reimbursement?
Ooh,
And you probably know where I'm going with this.
I do. That would be a question I have to look it up in our,
The last time we looked,
And do you anticipate having any issues with the cuts that have been made to Medicaid and federal?
that's a great question. We, when all this was going on, so again, I cannot rave enough about our billing company. They really, they anticipate things well, they communicate well, and we have not seen any, I mean, there's always shortcomings in our receivables, but nothing more because of the cuts.
we
So-
recently had a discussion over a month ago with our billing company. And we asked those
Specific,
specific
right,
questions,
yeah.
and one of the questions that we asked was or anything, and we are caught up. They also said, and I think this is a credit to our service, that as far as billing goes, we're probably in, and they handle a lot of billing for the state of Maine. We are in great shape compared to a lot of other, yeah, well, our billing is prepared by our staff that's sent in.
There's a lot
The
of,
staff does Derek does a really great job.
there's
So,
a lot of work on the backside
right.
from my desk in terms of billing prep and that sort of stuff that helps them. And when we actually put in for our main EMS grant, the organizer called me and said, whatever you're doing for billing, keep doing it. So
Since your billing, the conversations you've had with the billing company so far, do they anticipate any possible issues with Medicaid funding?
She didn't say, but they're always keeping, and they ask, and they are always keeping their eye on things like that. So it's something that they are very aware of, and in Medicaid or Medicare reimbursement. So they're always in discussion and talking, and they do keep us well informed if there's going to be an issue.
I talk to the billing company once a day, easily, if not more. So
With the number of calls remaining constant over the years, what is the on the response or the health or the treatment that you offer? If you're able to send a medic, are we reaping benefits from that?
100%.
And can you give examples of that?
I mean, so, you know, specific examples are difficult, but I mean, we live in an aging population. People are very sick. On one sentence, I'm saying we get a lot of the catch-all sort of access to healthcare stuff. But on the other sentence, I'm telling you, we have some really high acuity calls, and having a paramedic able to intervene immediately it's simply life-saving. I mean, there's no if, ands, or buts about it. I mean, we had a very dire cardiac emergency just this week. And I happened to actually be on the ambulance, and the fire chief was driving me because we were 3 calls deep at the time. And I'll tell you in no uncertain terms, had I not been there, not just me, but had a paramedic not been there, that patient would have suffered direly. Without getting into too many details, but that's a great question, Mike, and I cannot stress to you how important that is in this setting, that we put paramedics on trucks.
When you watch him stop and restart a heart, I gotta tell you, it's amazing.
It would be amazing to find a way to get. And what you're paying for is the quality of care. It would be nice to be able to find a way to communicate what that actually looks like for people who don't directly experience it.
That's an excellent point, and I think there's some challenges that come with that because you're dealing with HIPAA. You're dealing, you know, so it's sort of hard to, social media to the best of my ability to say, hey, look, your staff is highly trained because these things may happen, this may happen, you know, and I just, again, it's hard to convey that, but I'm standing in front of you telling you that I bear witness to it every single shift, every single day that I work with these guys, and I can't brag about them specifically enough, but just in general, that paramedic level care is vital to our service and this community.
But you're very right, Michael. People don't get, you know, they'll say the cost, but boy, when they need it, they're so appreciative, and they come in and they bring them treat. I get a call. I just want you to know that, you know, my husband was saved the other night by your medics, or my son, or whatever. And that's one of the best parts of being a town manager, is you get to take those calls.
And something that again, there's so much people don't see, right? But you know, I come through with the plow, drop the plow, push the snow in so the ambulance can get in. Right? That's the stuff that people don't always see. And we can't just go on Facebook and say, we plowed so-and-so's driveway so the ambulance could get in, right? So again, this team, you know.
Yeah, that would be.
What they're, yeah, it's true. What they're paying for is bigger than what like we can even really put out there, unfortunately. But that's a good point, and it'd be interesting to.
We need some good testimony.
I mean, we probably all know somebody.
Yeah.
Oh,
True.
right. I mean, I can give you two family examples that are pretty dramatic.
Questions on the numbers?
Did we even get in? Do you want me to go a little further into numbers, or we? Go ahead. Yeah. Go.
we were
Yes.
consolidating.
Yes.
That was one of the major selling points when a woman got up and said if it weren't for the old William, my husband would not be alive. And it was very heartfelt, and I think people listened.
Yeah.
Yes, last year, there was a gentleman who. To do what we do, so I think it's quite significant.
It's a difficult topic because this is definitely a service that people appreciate. And people know it.
Yeah.
They know, they appreciate it. You don't hear a lot of complaints about the EMS or any of the emergency services.
We do a. Through the fire department every year.
But I think it's,
DPW is
yeah.
catching up.
Yeah.
DPW is catching up.
But I think it's important, to your point, to everybody's point, that the cost is not, it's significant. It's not a cheap service.
You've got a number on here of 154,000. But you also gotta remember, you've got a revenue. If I'm reading this right, the net is actually only 693,073.
Only. Really?
Because you got a revenue of 1,461,744. We haven't done the revenue yet, but that's in the revenue side.
We haven't gotten waging on it.
Right.
You should have that.
We do
have
not have-
copies.
We do not have.
We have we have copies.
Whenever you're ready.
So back on your numbers there.
Yep.
Chief, I got a question. One thing that's concerning as someone that used to deal with people and billing by the hour, charging by the hour, having to pay overtime, we are constantly, I know we can't avoid it, we're always over and overtime.
Yeah.
Even over what we budget.
Yeah, yes.
So what do we do to?
So that's a big, that's a big conversation, when it comes to budgeting. As a matter of fact, we put more overtime in this budget because we're overspending in the overtime line. I will tell you, it's been a priority of mine since I've been chief to first and foremost staff the rigs 24 hours a day. And then secondly, and even of higher priority the last couple of years, try to cut back on an overtime. We full-time service. So unfortunately, we remain at the mercy of these individuals who are working a full-time job and we're their backup, right? Supplement their income. Because I understand the numbers look big, but they're not making a killing out here, right? So what happens to us a fair amount is somebody will sign up for a shift and then the day before or the day of, they'll get ordered to work their full-time job. And so we don't do an ordering list, but what happens is somebody who works full-time says, I'll stay for the day. And that's quickly 12 hours overtime. Fill a shift like that last minute is difficult. I'm hoping that in preparing for those, we don't overspend that budget and maybe we can even give it a little break, right? I mean, we didn't put in for a person. I think when you talk about cutting back on overtime, you gotta add a person, right? And so, but with that comes the cost of the benefits. So I think we're trying to find that middle ground of how do we continue to offset the overtime without having to spend a bunch of money in benefits. So, we've sort of kind of embraced the overtime piece of it because it helps keeps us staffed. But our goal is to, like I said, in the narrative, to continue to try to cut back on that where we can. I don't have a great answer for you, John.
No, I didn't, I know that's just
Right.
the business.
Yeah.
Way of work, but it's
Yeah.
just one of those things, when you're budgeting for massive overtime. I'll get off that horse. How about your vehicle maintenance?
So,
I had a conversation.
Yep.
before the meeting.
so in
You've
this,
got-
Yep.
You've got,
yep, go ahead,
you've
sorry.
got, $25,850 budget for vehicle maintenance. You're well under this year. Two rigs are less than 2 years old.
Yep.
And we got one rig that's 7 years old, but we'll probably be going out the door hopefully. With this approved.
Sure.
We really need to budget that much money. My point is, yeah, it's great to have the money sitting there, but someone's paying for it.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, we got an $8 million town budget.
Yeah.
And what's?
Right.
$20,000, not a whole lot, but pennies count.
I think
Can we drop that down?
So in my initial budget for 27, we cut that about $5,000. I'd be interested in, we could talk more about it. Like I said, I think, I worry about a rainy day where something gets really badly broken and then it's, not warranty, then it costs us $8 or $9 to fix something. But at the same token, money sitting there is money sitting there. So I cut a little bit back in the 27 budget, because I will tell you, the PW system is working magnificent. Yeah, it's perfect. You couldn't beat it in terms of downtime. You couldn't beat it in terms of work quality. And you certainly couldn't beat it in terms of cost. And now we have a new fleet. So I think I'm hoping to enjoy a little phase where we just embrace the fact that preventive maintenance for a few years would be great, especially with all the trouble we've had.
So with that said,
Yeah.
where do you see if we cut that, how much more can you cut that? Feel comfortable?
Where are we, what line is that exactly? $60, $70. Give me a page number real quick.
18.
18.
He doesn't have to.
Yes, he does.
I do have the new, yep, yep.
I would just comment that if the money doesn't get spent, it goes back into the general fund.
Yeah, it goes back into fund balance,
Right.
but
When was the last time you used it?
we need to have. I'd rather see it cut now than take from the fund balance next year.
Except if it's needed.
Right.
Again,
An ambulance gets in an accident and
Well, we get insurance for that.
insurance. So what,
Hey, there's a funny story about that, something about insurance and us
well,
doing the work,
well,
correct?
and a loaner and yeah. You know,
Something you're specifically in.
And that's not something our mechanics
And-
could handle.
and that's something that's, I'll be honest with you, John, I wouldn't want to take it down too much more. There's room. I mean, I think throwing the $4,200, out there was a pretty honest, at least initially. But again, I also see where we haven't spent it.
And we've got very, very capable vehicles now, so
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
not old by any means.
if we took it down to,
20.
20 grand,
20 grand.
try it for a year and I don't anticipate major problems, like Julie said, they could happen. I think it's a good faith effort to make a cut where pennies are adding up, and I'm hoping that we just enjoy this, this phase of new rigs and yeah, so 20 works for me.
And at the time, he did not realize that we had officially gotten the grant.
But when is the money coming in?
I just filled out all of the work, so I would anticipate we have to, we will get the money and we will have to spend it rather quickly, so I'm waiting for all of those details. We've already got an
is there an ambulance
application for the
available?
next CDS.
That's a great question. So, could have one here. If we clicked rinse and repeat on the truck that we've come to love
Add the card?
at 100%, it'd be the same truck, and so I wrote a proposal. I don't know if Julie's got it. It's a pretty lengthy proposal, about
18 months.
18 months, but that remains above the industry standard. because electronics he's working his magic up there. He keeps stuff, rolling. So if we did it,
Fast enough to-
We would have to
See
give
the-
them a significant down payment. We'd probably have to
But I mean,
spend that money.
it's within the grant.
I'm, like I said, I'm waiting for that. That was one of the questions
Yeah.
that I asked is how soon do I have to spend that money? Sometimes the windows, I mean, we've gone 24 months. But we haven't been awarded a CDS under this administration. So I'm just not sure what their requirements are, but we have the money. We have official notice.
Kate, as I've asked her that question like 4 times. She's like, I don't know. Trying to plan, trying to.
So is that correct?
Perfect. Can you repeat that?
2148967.
I've got a question. I'm sorry, how many full-time employees does EMS have?
We have, we always have to count them. It's, should be 11.
Okay, thank you.
I was looking at the amount of increase that was requested last year, that we approved last year, and it was 223,594. And this year, your increase is also. What's the, I mean, yay, thank you, but what's the big difference?
Wages.
Yeah, we
We-
made some.
We made some big wage
Last year,
increases.
and so we
yeah.
don't
Steeper
need, we
jump.
don't need to do it this year as much.
Well, hopefully not. Yeah, hopefully, well, I mean, our goal is to retain people.
Have you?
Yes. People,
It applies what Julie was talking about with the HRA and the
Right.
workers' comp, especially in the larger departments, they
Right.
have a larger credit.
Right,
Larger-
but I have a feeling that there's been a lot of, I don't want to say cutting, that may not be the right word, but a lot of really, where can we cut back here before you gave this to us? And so I just wanted to say thank you.
well, yes.
And if you look at the employees' pay, it went up 65,000 across the board, and we're only going up 79
Mhm.
total. That's with the pay increases and benefits.
We've made strides, significant strides, and for the budget committee members who haven't been here, but there was a period, and it was in one of my slides the first night, of public safety just soared for a couple of years there. 21, 22, 23, 24. And we're leveling out. When I started in 2017, I think we were paying our EMTs $11. I think our medics were making 13,
yeah.
maybe
19
14.
at probably that point, yeah.
That was just 9 years ago. And, I get here and I came from a place from away and I'm thinking, somebody stopping and starting my heart for $20. I was under $20.
Make a burger at McDonald's.
Yeah. like-
So to Julie's point, made good on. We said, listen, give us what we need this year. Give us what we need this year. And now we're saying we've leveled out. We're trying to be good on our word and not go so crazy.
Which is why I'm saying thank you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. But again, I think this is a true budget. I don't think our operations will remain the same. But it's just allows us to stay true to our word that we're gonna stop making these 13-14% increases and we have interlocal towns, Jefferson and Friendship, that we gotta take care of too. We're trying to provide a service that they've come accustomed to for a price that's not, I get it, it's big, but we're trying to go good on our word. So.
You say that full-time staff work 48-hour shifts, is that all at once, a block? or-
One full-time employee, because of preference, works a 48-hour shift. And he's a paramedic and there's a paramedic always on with him so that they can take turns.
So I'm just wondering with that, how functional they are.
Yep, so to that point, that's why we make sure that they're well staffed around him, because we don't want that person working 48 straight without good breaks. So, you know, we don't have a policy against it, but we have a understanding that we gotta take care of people and so that one person really likes that schedule. We let them work it. They move in on a Friday morning and they leave on a Sunday morning.
Is that a problem at all for the department
It-
to deal with that? or is it-
No, I think because we have the paramedics, we're able to do it. If we were short paramedics and he was working solo paramedic a ton, I don't think we could do it. I think we'd have to, because we try to put paramedics on most of our calls and if he was running, you know, 15, 16, 20 calls a weekend, we'd have to do something different, you know, but the crews around him take good care of him and his supervisors make sure that he, you know, and we all take care of it. We all go call for call. We all take turns. It's this crew, they get down to a science in terms of giving breaks and taking turns and so
To get 8 hours overtime.
they all do. Yep. And it's a retention thing. You know, yeah.
Are there's been a problem with finding people in the past in the region.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering if there's any like regional cooperative effort to generate more
Yeah, I mean, reasonable.
potential staff.
Yeah, I mean, we're always in meetings, chiefs meetings, talking about classes and that sort of stuff and. Back when we were really shorthanded, Julie can echo this. Figure out a way to reimburse and pay and that sort of thing, but really, I should knock on some wood. The staffing over the last few years has really, not just for us, but I mean, look at Warren. Right, I mean, they staff enough that we're down almost 100 calls, right? And I'm not saying that there's not other factors in that, but regionals, yes, 100%.
Say about Waldeboro, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it as the town manager. We're a great place to work. You know, we have wonderful leadership, you know. When I got here, there was 100 town managers in 12 years, whatever, I'm exaggerating, but there was a lot of town managers. I think there's been stability in leadership. And there are people in place in the department heads roles that genuinely care about our community and genuinely are committed to the town of Waldeboro. And I'll use you as an example, Derek. Derek is a product of our EMS department from the time he was in high school. And he's now the leader of that department. And I think people stay because of the leadership, because of what their town as the select board and the budget committee have provided to the employees. So regionally, at times there may with that, and I think that you can't discount when you have a good place to work, when people get along and people are respected. And I think that's what Waldeboro has that maybe some other places don't always have. But we have a very supportive select board, budget committee, and really great department heads.
Go ahead. You're the chief. Well, I don't wanna step on your toes. Not at all. On equipment maintenance line 6030.
Page 18 again.
Page 18. Your
Sometime in, I usually have to call and ask for it. The lease comes out for our monitors and Lucas devices and we have a bunch of stuff on it, one power load system, and it comes out once a year to the tune of like 50 some odd thousand. We like one day it was like June 15th. I was like, pay this bill, you know, because it's in that it's budgeted for that. So that's why that line stays that way. But it's coming. So. And actually, there's a little. When a piece of that, the maintenance services to service the power loads and that sort of stuff and preventative maintenance on them went up a little bit. So we just put that in there so that we're able to cover that because if they don't do that and something breaks, we're gonna pay full cost for like a battery, which is like $900. Kind of preventatively, as part of that package, they'll just give us.
Any other questions?
Just a quick question on evaluating the vehicles themselves. I see that you've got mileage and you've got time. Do you also evaluate them by their hour meters?
Yeah, Public Works does a good job of keeping an eye on that for us, letting us know. You know, oil, that sort of stuff is big, but
Mileage doesn't always mean.
especially when those trucks,
Especially in
they
those
they idle for long periods of time and that sort of stuff, but they,
So that's part of the evaluation.
it is in the rotation.
Just his dash cams, which are awesome.
Yes.
Does that monitor, hours or?
No, but Bouncy does. Bouncy is an app that we subscribe to. The supervisors have it on their phone. It tracks where the ambulance is at all times, its speed. If there's an accident, idle time, engine hours, mileage. It notifies me if a truck needs service. It's $400 a year and
Great app.
it's right on my phone. And if we're trying to cover calls and figure out where ambulances are, I can pull it up and say, yep, 92 is West Main Street and Route 1, and we can, you know, it's a, I don't know how we live without it. The dash cameras are awesome too, but Bouncy really is a game changer in terms of fleet management and allows the supervisors some more situational awareness, which is what we're always looking for as well. So worth every penny.
2,148,967 for emergency medical services. Second. Any more discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay, 2,148,067.
Second.
Thank you. More discussion or questions? In favor? Okay, thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
If there are no objections, let's put us out for a break for till let's say 8:50, 7:50. 9 minutes. I know.
and there's a ton of weight.
Yeah.
So,
Bonnie did.
All right, I'll bring our meeting back to the session and we're gonna have David, talk about transfer station, you look at the back of your book. They have their own section.
Sorry, I don't have a PowerPoint for you,
Work on that.
but I will work on that. But I'll give you a little bit information.
Brad.
Yeah. So that transfer station was built in '89. It was designed for 20 years. Okay, the landfill was designed for 15. We've gone 30. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna make 40 with that. So that's a little bit of information. Okay,
89 when the hoppers and all that one.
yes. Yes,
Are we still landfilling?
No.
no,
no,
Oh,
Uh,
a year ago, 2 years ago?
3 years.
Is it on that one?
Yeah. Yeah. So we've done good. This year, I have seen a decrease in our tonnage going for solid waste. We're down to 2,400. That facility was designed for 2,600 ton a year. That's been our average. In the last 10 years, we've gone up to 32. We're back down, we're at 24 and 100 now. Recycling. We've gained quite a bit. This year we've gained 70 ton in compost. I know people think that isn't a lot, but that's worth 3.5 trailers, tractor trailers. That it costs us. So it does help. Our regular recycling has done fairly well. We're at 450 ton. I'd like to see more, but a lot of stuff, there's no place where we can get rid of it. A lot of the plastics, a lot of the other material, is being made nowadays. All in all, everything's going, the same. Now, the budget, of course, we do have some increases. And that's basically for tipping fees, which we're gonna pay. And it's also for trucking, transportation costs. That is the majority of it.
Don't forget to mention your amazing Frencher excavator.
Oh, the excavator, yeah. We was able to purchase an excavator last year. They charge us $650 for transportation of the containers. When we was loading them with the loader, we was only getting 5 ton. Loading with the excavator and break stuff up, we're up to 10 ton, we're doubling. And that has helped offset our trips. We was 120 to 140. I dropped it down to 80 this year, and we'll see.
I'll pay for the excavator along quick.
Oh, yeah, it will. Yeah. So that's about it. I don't know what you guys want to know. We take in everything. I have the breakdown of that if you want it. I don't know.
Just like everyone else, you pay payroll and.
Yeah.
Need to use that's based on contract.
Yep.
Based on contract.
Yep.
1 point, we at 1.7% increase over last year.
Yep.
What's the plan about that?
Nope.
Pretty good. You got the supervision up there.
Yeah.
Lower the amount of trash we're hauling.
Yep.
And so do you have any ideas or any programs that you're thinking of to increase recycling and get our taxpayers to save themselves some money by increasing recycling?
Yes.
Hey, I'm just kidding.
So, I know. Yeah, and, I decided I wasn't gonna bring it up this year.
You didn't bring it up.
Somebody else did. Yeah,
I'll ask another question.
yeah,
So we have by ordinance, a minimum amount of recycling for the items that come to the.
Yes.
The station. Oh, do we have any, do we intend on enforcing those?
we are enforcing them. Most people are recycling. People that aren't, that I've been trying to get them to recycle.
Well, that's a big change right there.
And well, it's not only that, some people, times are different. People change.
Not to interrupt you, John, but I'll tell you, just since I've been involved with this, my household recycling has increased.
Yep.
And I never realized what a difference it is personally. And even though we have family events, and I'm telling people, throw your papers in there, but I get people give me, my family give me.
Encouraged to hear about the composting, because that's 50%
Yeah.
of household waste.
Yep.
And that's a direct bottom line savings, you know, for the town.
Yes.
How much of that was mine?
I bet you.
I was taking 1 to 2 times.
Yeah,
So,
you're on there somewhere. Yes.
Oh,
no,
I thought it had everything to do with that guy that did the Waldeboro Day composting, and.
It was a nice try. It was a nice try. All right, the non-recycling fee, would come in on average. They just don't want to recycle. They'll tell you where to go, what to do with it and whatnot. And then, huh?
You were gonna tell on me.
Yeah, I know. And I have 95 people for non-recycling on small bags. So the thing is, the only thing that what we've been doing is charging them 60 cents a bag. My plan is to change that, go to $2 for small bags and $3.50 for the bigger bags. And like I've always said, when it comes out of their pocket, people listen. We were going through over $60,000 in mattresses. We brought it up, the cost. Now we're only 24,000. We're getting a third of the mattresses that we was getting. You know, we just got charged what everybody else charges. And, you know, just so you're aware, some transfer stations around us are charging, you know, Rockland, Rockport, Union, you know, and they're, you know, so people try and sneak it in. We're gonna do the stickers again and try to, you know, catch people. It's a chore, you know.
Window stickers for vehicles.
Yep, yep. Gonna start that again, and it's a chore, but what are you gonna do? I mean, we've dropped it from what it used to be quite a bit. So,
Speaking of mattresses, any ideas on handling them so they don't get wet? And are they still? Do we pay by tonnage on?
We do.
mattresses?
We do, but we get rid of them a lot quicker. I load them right up, then I can squish them out, wring them out with the excavator.
Excavator.
Yeah.
I was actually wondering if that
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah, that's working out fairly well. Yeah, it is right now.
I think that's the biggest thing, biggest adjustment we had to make was get in the excavator because we were paying, didn't matter if there's 10 ton or 4 ton in that dumpster. It was still $650.
Yep.
Double the amount in there, you're cutting your loads in half.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
that was the selling point of getting the excavator. Within a year or two, that thing would be paid for.
Yep.
Any other questions for John? You getting all the support you need on whatever thing you want to modify or change? We're clearly making some great changes.
Yeah. I'd say, yeah.
That wasn't a good question, I don't think, was
Uh,
it?
No, I mean, I think this is a pretty good group. If you were,
Yeah.
you call someone on it and tell us what you need.
He wants his donkey dog.
As I say, is that in this budget or not? Is that
It's
in?
in the
some-
capital.
It's in the capital.
Okay, it's in the
Yeah.
cap.
Yeah.
But don't we need it now? So
Would-
wouldn't it be
would.
in the budget?
Yeah, it's in the
So,
capital budget.
When we do the capital.
Let me do the capital.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah.
We put $25,000 in there for his donkey dog.
Yeah.
Which is the yard truck. It's not really a donkey that's a dog or a dog that's a donkey.
No
It's
hybrid.
a short yard truck.
And-
Maybe some kind of art painted on this thing.
Oh.
Yeah, there will be.
Sure.
Naming rights perhaps?
For donkey dog.
There's an idea. It's still naming rights for a donation.
Mhm. So, that's all I have for you, unless you ask me questions.
Oh, I had a question. On health insurance line on page one of the old. I assume it's still page one. Line 1540. It says a 10% increase, but it's 10% over last year.
Well, that's because I'm swapped over to there.
It changes
Full
when
time.
personnel changes.
Yeah.
It depends on if someone is
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's
full-time
additional
or, yeah,
personnel.
Right.
if they have a family or single coverage.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And the other thing I was wondering is, your contract personnel of the under payroll
Mm-hmm.
on 1090. How often are Public Works used over there that?
Used to be all the time when I was
Yeah.
there, used to be. Now it's when needed. I go up and, it's plowed by me. We're doing a lot of our own work with the loader and excavator, but there's still stuff that they have to, supply us gravel. They have to trucks and ditching and stuff like
They're
that.
not actually working at the
Sometimes,
facility.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
if there's vacations or things like that
Yeah.
that they need to cover,
Right, to
they
cover,
still need
yeah.
to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
And we
Wow.
charge that off. That doesn't come out of the
Right.
public works
Right.
budget. That comes out of.
Out of here.
Yeah. The demo area, we've done that. Public Works with the trucks and equipment, help doing that.
So they're planning on doing, with the donkey dog, we'll have a landing zone for the trailer so that he can move the trailer out from the compactor and leave it so that that hauler can then come pick it up.
I think that's a fabulous idea.
It
Yeah.
is.
That'd be way more.
And, but that's something that the Public Works Department would construct with under John.
well, that's the thing is John sometimes has to wait 3 or 4 hours for a truck to show up and switch trailers out. He's gonna hop a
Wow,
full,
the
and he's gonna
100%.
hop a full of trash.
Yeah. And the other thing too is lots of times you hear about these trailers that are loaded and all of a sudden they just fold up. Well, guess what? When we're hooked up to the building and we got rams pushing, It happened to us last year, you know, the insurance wouldn't cover it. Yep. You know, and it's,
You have a truck under it.
yeah, so with truck underneath, but we don't have to worry about it. So it's all.
What's that landing gear cost? Repair?
That was a $22,000 mistake.
Live and learn.
Yep. True. So,
Like, yeah, it's, we're a member of municipal, used to be municipal waste.
No, it's Waste Hub.
Waste Hub, yep.
Municipal waste hub. They're not up to full speed. When are they gonna get up to maximum production, number one?
Yep.
And is it gonna? Are we gonna get a better deal from them than our current landfill?
we're through Waste Hub now.
They're through Waste Hub now, but they're not.
Even
they're not running their facility.
they're not running their facility, but they have set the contracts for Norwich Walk where we take our trash. We have a 10-year guarantee, and Waste Hub's the one that's taking care of that. So even though we're not going to Waste Hub necessarily in Hamden, the facilities on this end, we're still underneath that contract to go to Norwich Walk. So.
And the second part of that question is,
Mhm.
what happens when they're operational? Do we get a sweeter deal than currently?
No. No sweeter deal.
Trucking any cheaper to?
So.
Yeah.
That's actually a more complicated question than, because we're a member of Waste Hub.
Right.
So there could be a sweeter deal in the back end of the profit sharing that was negotiated when Waste Hub bought the plant. So that's a hard thing. But that's a really great question that I can maybe have Mike Carroll give us a more direct answer on.
Well, we
And
have,
also an update on when they're going, because if you'll recall, when he was at our meeting, he mentioned that they were hoping to start spring.
Yeah.
Just taking trash fully to their facility.
Well. When we ship to Waste Hub, when they're operational, does the composition of the trash matter? Like how much recycling they have?
it doesn't, with the new rules and regulations, the state of Maine has come up with, making manufacturers responsible for their packages and stuff. I'm not sure how that's gonna work, whether, it's gonna be us to, Hamden, or to keep going with Lincoln County, because Lincoln County doesn't know what they're gonna do yet either. It's still up in the air. I don't think anybody has heard anything that I know of.
But we all have to remember that we already pay for recycling through
Like,
our county tax portion. Waste Hub represented at a meeting they were at, that they are poised to be able to handle that producer
yeah,
revenue that has to come back. So anything that we recycle that's taken to the Waste Hub. So
They have to do 50%.
we would have
Hmm.
to look at that seriously,
Yeah.
because if it's more than what we're paying in taxes that we would be getting back, it might behoove us to send stuff
Right.
there. But when we get to that point, that's a calculation that's going to have to be made. And I wouldn't say that's a calculation that'll be made in the first month. It might take like a year or so to figure out what's this look like.
They're still working the bugs out of the plant, so.
It's gonna take some time.
So supposedly we were told spring.
Yep.
Start, our loads would start going there.
What's this at?
Sort of, I mean, we've got a lot of revenue that we get for metals and such, we're not gonna send the metals that we collect to municipal waste hub,
No,
correct?
no. No, that goes to Grimmel. We sell that stuff to Grimmel.
That would stay the
Yeah.
same. That would stay the same.
This would just be the MSW stuff. I'd like to send everything, yeah. Completely, but can't.
All right, ready for a vote? Yep. Transfer station. Expensive, $1,140,101. Motion from the select board?
Second.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Oh, well, I thought you was making the motion.
Is there a motion? Motion. I make the
Stop
motion.
changing up on me.
You second it?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Okay, we got $1,140,151. Transfer station. Second. Third, fourth, and fifth. Okay. Any more discussion, questions? All those in favor? Thank you, Scott. Anyone opposed? None.
Well, we got John right here.
Mhm.
Transfer station revenue. We can vote on that.
Yeah.
We're gonna jump into it, yeah.
We could just vote once on the capital and on the transfer station, because anything that's specific to Waldeboro is in the departmental other.
But
When we get to that, when we go circle back to that. and
I have a question on that.
the revenue for the transfer station.
If you just vote for the transfer station fund budget, if you say that, it's a balanced
I think it's a
budget.
wash, yeah.
Yeah, it's a balance, yeah.
Yes.
I have a question on that. Has there been any changes in the agreement or the percentages that the other tenants are paying?
No, hasn't been.
It's all based on the census, so for the next 10 years, the same percentages based on the census, that's how the agreement reads.
There was a discussion a year or so ago.
Yeah. You know, they were trying to find out what the real population.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't go well,
No,
With them, of course.
right.
For
but
us,
we have no way of knowing. I don't have no way of knowing.
No.
I have no way of proving what their population.
Sure.
That's why we're coming up
I know.
with the,
but
that's
you
gonna be different colors too. So the different-
I think it's gonna be, we're
we are
not,
doing something about it.
Yeah.
well, we're gonna try. We're gonna leave them.
You're gonna see, have a good idea who's using it.
And so what are we
Yes.
doing that's gonna be a change?
Basically, right now, everybody's gotta change their plates and everything else. So we decided now to do the stickers, a good time to start doing it this year. Most people have fresh plates, so that'll help us out quite a bit. Also, that means they have the new registrations and everything else versus some people used to turn around and keep their old registrations, even though they moved some other area and they gave us, their registration showed they were living in Friendship or Cushing.
But that registration's, it's gotta be, it's gotta be a current registration.
Yeah, exactly. Now it has to be.
But I mean, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't, I said, I don't understand. It's a conversation for another time.
Mhm.
You know, registration doesn't last forever.
It doesn't, but they hang on to the old one. They say, this is the one I have. And they showed
So
it
you
to us.
reject it because it's an expired registration.
When you have 15 cars behind you, you're gonna reject that. You come on a Saturday when it's lined up out there and you go ahead.
I'll put on my armor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, great. So you're making some efforts.
Yes, we are. Yep. Okay, thank you.
If you,
All that.
Next year, I come about.
Keep it built on jumping into revenue. Let's take care of revenue.
Just for the transfer station or for?
Got that, for the whole thing,
For what whole thing?
all the revenue.
So I'm not clear on why we don't vote on the transfer station.
That's all. The wall. Operating budget.
It's a fund, it's a one fund, it's neutral, it balances, we've got your revenues and your total revenues and your total expenses are the same number. In the past, you voted on the transfer station budget, the capital budget, and then all the individual general fund departments. The total that's owed for Waldeboro's share of the capital, any capital expenses is in the department called other. Waldeboro's share of the transfer station, anything that's transfer station related is in the department called other in the general fund. So you only have to vote on the total fund for those two. That are separate.
I understand that, but
Yeah, if you want to.
we wouldn't have the opportunity to ask the question about what are we doing to increase revenue?
Right.
So there is a point at not doing a blanket.
But you could ask the question because we include the revenue.
Yeah, if we have that opportunity. Yeah. So for instance, when we were talking about EMS, we didn't take that opportunity. But we don't.
Right, because they'll come back, but she's saying is that this is a whole separate fund.
No, I thought John wanted to do all revenue.
No, we are going to do that next. To page 49, or the new book.
The new book, I believe, is 58.
Hey, you can read the revenue.
Sorry.
A lot of it is the same as it's been in the past. We use the same formulas that we've had to predict what we think we might receive in the upcoming budget. The one highlighted that Julie mentioned in her presentation that was new is in my department, which is the 200 finance. And that one is on page 62. And what I'm referring to is the renewable energy reimbursement from the state. That's on page 62, it's number 3328. This year. Teach 25,000. And just talking to Daryl about how it works, he has to receive a form from a resident claiming exemption for a solar system. And the valuation is then entered into a form and they predict what they think we may receive. He actually so we put in 100,000 as a conservative revenue figure but Daryl thinks we might actually receive more than that because there's a couple of solar properties that he doesn't have the exemption forms in yet, so he thinks it could be more than 130. So.
I'm sorry, Peg, you said page 52?
62?
62, okay, I'm sitting here going.
How much more though, Peg?
He said at least 130, what he said to me.
An additional 100?
No,
Oh,
just
no.
30 more.
Total.
30,000 more.
Is that safe?
Split it, 115 versus 130. I did not have a conversation with Daryl about that. But if he's saying there's more out there, that will probably apply. Just remember, if we're a little low on revenue, it builds fund balance,
Right.
reminding everybody.
So how does that work with the reimbursement? So is there a municipal exemption on property tax on solar?
I am not even gonna try to. I'll come in and explain it to you, or you can go see Daryl when he's in the office.
There's math involved.
And it's not math, but
And the valuation he gave me the other day, I have his scribbles, because I thought maybe someone would ask. The 15,606,000. And he was kind of unclear on exactly what they do with the state, but half of that times our mill rate times something else I can't read is how Daryl had determined that. So it's a little gray still. I think it's because it's in the new, it's a little new.
So is that $15 million worth of solar equipment?
Yeah, worth of property
Property that has solar.
valuation. Yeah.
So it's the land?
So I think you need to have Daryl.
He's assessing the value.
The assessment value of the property.
Have lots of information if you'd like to see it. Or you can talk to Daryl. He could probably explain it better.
I just soon leave it the way it is right now. Yeah, myself.
Do you want me to have Daryl come in at the next meeting and explain?
Yeah, that would be of interest, yes.
They can explain it, but I think.
It might not be the next meeting, I'll find out. The next Tuesday night meeting we can have him come in, because he's here till 6:30. So get him in first, that way he doesn't have to hang out.
Well, if we're taking like $5,000 out. Repair and maintenance money. And logic that we could give ourselves more credit for what expected.
But we don't control that revenue. It's about as much as we can control the maintenance.
I'd like to find out how likely it is that, I mean, how close is 100,000? That's a pretty round figure.
That's a Julie figure, because when Daryl explained it to me, I wanted to believe every word he was saying. I truly did. It would have made me really happy, and I do believe what Daryl. Control. So I just wanted to be conservative. It's the first year we've ever had it. I will always err on the side of being conservative with my numbers, so I would feel better if he came and everybody gave an explanation, and maybe you'll feel really good about 130 or 115, but I think you really need to have Daryl here to explain it. Feel
On the
good about it.
conservative side, 100,000 is more conservative. On the revenue side, $100,000 is more conservative than $130,000.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I'm just wondering how, I mean, if there's a really good chance, if
But it's still varied. It's still varied from what he was predicting,
And
what the
Right.
state person.
And I don't know if that valuation decreases every year based on, so is there depreciation on the, I don't know those things. I can't know that,
Cause it's a new program for the state.
because it's a new program. I can't know the. But it might be a less than 130, I don't know.
Be pleasantly surprised next year.
I mean,
Did our
I get
best
what you're
to
saying. I
protect,
mean,
you know, what we thought it would be.
I got
We're
the
trying.
word out.
Mill rate down.
right.
Crystal ball.
I agree.
Magic 8 ball.
Existing solar or is it?
Again.
Learn more.
The first time I heard of it. I think it is, I don't wanna say, because I don't know enough to
That was
speak
one.
intelligently
I would like to
about
hear from Daryl.
it.
Before you make that, can you?
Can we wait to hear from Daryl before we? Does anyone else want to hear anything more about that?
I want to be educated, but I'm not concerned about the number that's listed here based on whatever we can do that. Well, I guess for that, I can just go to Darren's office and talk to him.
Any other questions on the revenue before we? Is I got something for you, Peg, on the,
Yes. What page?
page 74. 3914. No money in LRAP.
It's part of Public Works. If you go to the Department 500, we moved it a couple of, actually last year.
Okay, so we'll see that one, brief public work.
Yep, it's on page 70. Couple pages up.
First line.
On page 70.
Okay, so that 116,504, that includes something I've been talking about.
Yes, it does.
What's that?
The plowing,
Plowing, yeah.
maintaining the state roads that we're not getting paid enough money for.
Correct. That
So they
you
granted
feel,
us-
that you guys feel you're not gonna get paid enough money for, but that the state would say it's a legislature.
Right, and this is something, nothing we're gonna do about in this room. That's something
No,
that we
but
need
it's
to
something
be
we should-
pushing that
we can
issue with
start.
our
Yeah.
legislature. I talked to someone in the county about it and totally agrees that if we're not getting paid.
But that's one of the,
What it costs
that's the suck part is, that's one of the places the state always steals money from is the DOT. Always steal the money away from them. Always.
Again, it's not, nothing that we're gonna do in this room, but it's a conversation where we let the state know that we're not gonna be able to plow them the way they wanna be plowed,
Mhm.
and maybe you would get some change. But anyway,
Another comment is, that same page 74, the total under initial is different. That was before we knew what our revenue sharing numbers were. We got the new numbers right after this report was created.
Is it better or worse?
It's better, because we put in the current year as the placeholder, and that's also under, Department 200. Hold on. That's, page 62, the first line, municipal revenue sharing.
So that's gone up.
Yes, that have gone up. Just one second.
what page is that?
62,
the top.
first line.
So what is it? Or is this page the page you gave us?
You're trying to find it.
The new municipal revenue sharing figure is 1,279,823.
It's gone up 73,000.
Yes,
Nice.
yeah. So that gives your,
So,
Mill rate.
so just so you know, so that Thursday, when we printed out for your books, we didn't have revenue sharing. That Friday morning, it came out.
Went up 73,000.
We were all-
Peg, what does that put us for our 27 total?
it's on your yellow sheet, if you guys have your yellow sheets, but it's $5,571,405. You should have a yellow summary that has the revenue total. And that changes column is new. What we changed from the initial, the first day. From the initial book to the after day one that was the change.
Um,
What should the total be? 557?
5571405.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I just want to say something about EMS revenue, just because during the break, John Burgess brought this up. Number, it's not a number that just comes. We don't have a Ouija board or a crystal ball, but we try to make the best educated guess, so. The revenue number you're seeing isn't just, okay, this is the number of calls and this is what we get paid. We can base that on what we. Things like that, so out of the number that Derek and I start with. We take out, in this budget, we took out $184,426 for uncollectibles. And contracts and allowances, we took out $412,904, so that when you come to that number that. So I just wanted everybody to be aware that, you know. We bill more than that revenue number reflects. And, you know, we base this on what our prior experience has, and we look at that each year. So I just wanted everybody to understand that.
In terms of trying to increase revenue, we walk a fine line between overbilling somebody because of Medicare allowables. Medicare is only gonna allow us to bill X number of dollars.
Right.
We can put that back on the taxpayer. But if it's a burden to them to pay for that service anyways, now we're just adding to our uncollected. That's the problem. So when we talk about increasing our fees for service, which is the only way we really can make a solid effort at trying to improve, well, there's some other ways we can. Julie and I talked a lot about trying to utilize the Philbrook fund a little bit, Friendship Ambulance Auxiliary a little bit if we have the time and logistical work, because ComStar's on. We have to increase our fees for service, and then if Medicare or insurance doesn't pay part of that, we're putting that back on the patient or the client, and that may not be something they can do. So if they're responsible for $500 of an ambulance bill that they can't pay, that just goes into bad debt, and then they go to collections and. The service fees. While also trying to increase revenue.
I hope that was a good explanation.
Is it Medicare funded run? Are we getting
No.
paid enough to?
No.
60%.
That's the problem.
And there's different Medicare rates, reimbursable rates, depending on where you are in the state of Maine. That's a whole nother discussion.
It's a whole nother can of
Well,
worms.
well above
Well,
our
above our-
pay grade.
Very well
And we could-
discussed.
we could
That's
increase
way south of our pay grade.
the billing company sends us something every year that says, this is what the Medicare allowable increase is. It's like 2.3%.
Hmm.
Right? So you're talking, cents on the dollar really by the time you do the math.
And the hospitals face the same problem that we do.
But we can bill whatever we want to bill. If I want to say it's gonna cost $5,000 flat rate for us to drive somebody from Miles to Maine Med, we could do that. Medicare's only gonna pay that amount. Then we're gonna have to bill the patient the leftover.
So have you changed your billing at all?
Yeah, oh yeah, we change it every year.
Oh, yeah.
But meaning more than the Medicare allowable, or
So typically, it's.
is the patient getting billed for more than what Medicare will
Yes.
pay?
Yeah, so basically, we will, like, say it's, just for round numbers, say it's, Medicare allowable increase is $10, we might bill $12. just trying to, you know,
And you're revisiting that every year
Every
to
year.
see what,
every year.
what
just
burden you can.
To see what they're doing around us, to see, you know, I mean, if we've gone up as much as $100 in a year because billing was so short. And then we've gone up as much, as little as, you know, we're gonna round our service fees up $25 for the different services, come to different fees. So like a transfer costs something different than an I-01 call. If we start
And there's
an-
mileage in there.
Right. If we start an IV, that costs more money than if we don't, it's, you know, those types of things. We don't bill per like supplies, like a hospital would, but we bill a rate based on the service.
No, I understand that there's a percentage of the calls that they can't afford the burden, but it's important that we try to get the revenue where we can.
I could not agree more. Could not agree more. It's just, it's a hard thing. You know, I think there are people out there, like we talked about earlier, that are literally accessing us because we're their only option. And then
I think in a town like ours that's small, when we look and Derek and I look at every month. We look at the outstandings and, you know, at least from my perspective for our residents, I think we know who they are. You know, we know, you know, and. That you know that's not gonna, they're not gonna be able to pay. You know, we know that, so, and that's where that Philbrook fund comes in, and what Derek was saying is there's a fund in Friendship that we have to now, I think, kind of figure out a way how to get, you know, Friendship aware of, hey, if you have this fund, it's beneficial to you too to pay. I don't know if Jefferson has that, but we have to work on those types of.
the other thing we look at in terms of trying to increase revenue, and we want to work with our mutual aid partners, but we also understand there's a cost in doing that, right? So if I'm asking you as a taxpayer of Waldeboro to supplement my ability to respond in Warren, that comes at a price, right? So what we typically do is we look at that every so often as well and say, okay, how do we, and the service that is responding out of our primary response area, how do we offset that burden to our taxpayers? And we put that burden, frankly, back on the other town.
Thank you.
So
And Warren's been pretty cooperative.
Yeah.
they don't, and that's something that's
They don't
important too. They don't skip a beat.
Yeah.
They want their patients provided for, just like we want ours provided for. So they know we can provide that service and they pay the bill. And when we go to Warren for the full crew, we transport a patient, we automatically bill Warren plus that patient. So that's where we're trying to make up for the caps.
And none of this stuff was before. until-
No.
Correct.
We didn't have all of this stuff, the contracts with Friendship or with Jefferson or Warren or Union until Derek come on board.
Well,
And that was one of his
Wait a
major
minute.
directives.
Just before me and with me,
yeah, we started that, well, Derek was on hiatus.
Yeah.
Well, he was sowing some wild oats over at CLC. But he came back.
and we hit the ground running.
So we hit the ground
And the
running.
Warren stuff has been a huge thing, for both parties. Everybody benefits from
Saves
it.
them money.
And most importantly, the patients are taken care of. That's
But
the
we
most
did not have
important.
the Warren Union agreements until Derek came back.
Or Jefferson.
No, the Jefferson and the
Well,
Richard and Jan Minzy was on select board and we went to the Jefferson and the Friendship meeting.
And then Bob and Dan and I.
And then
went to
Bob
the
and
Abington.
Jan and I and you,
Yeah.
and then Abden, that was when I grabbed my purse and was ready to leave the Friendship meeting.
Uh-oh.
When a Jersey girl picks up her purse, it's either to hit you with it or you're walking out. Purse. It was the purse, I had the purse. And Abden sat there and said, I think you need to apologize now.
So at any rate, EMS revenue is a tricky one. We know it, we're aware of it,
You're working it.
we're working it best we can.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions on revenue? I move 557 line 405 for general fund revenue.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
So we had 5571405. That's a big number. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'm gonna second.
I'll second that.
Um. Yeah, this is one of the numbers in the budget that I always feel like quite. Quite think about it enough, but, I don't have any insight on how projections are made, and usually they're pretty good, so. Anyone else have any questions or discussion? How about if we vote then? All those in favor? Any opposed? And 0.
Okay, before I take a motion to adjourn, looking at the schedule from the 11th,
The ninth.
sorry, the 9th.
I was gonna say.
We got Public Works, PD, and then we'll leave, if anyone else is scheduled for the 9th. Then we'll start jumping through some of these smaller items. On 9th.
So can I just address everybody for a second? One of the things that Peg and I struggle with is we have additional information for you. At times, we're like, some of it requires an explanation, so we feel like we need to wait and give it to you so that then you can get the information. So do you guys have any preference? So like Kelly wanted to know the balances of the trust fund that we utilized last year for some of the social services and community services, which Peg already has copies of. Is that something you want like tonight? You know, but like even with some of like, you know, with the department heads, I think it's incumbent that they give you their information and that you hear them. I think that's really important, but some of the supplementary stuff. So we'll give you that at least a meeting ahead of time. We might not give it to you. I don't want to overwhelm you with, oh, here's all this stuff and you don't know what it's coming up or pertaining to, especially for the new people. So,
The 3 pages that are going around now. One is on the policy that we set forth after the budget discussion last year, spending policy. The other is some narratives on each trust fund. And then you have 2 calculations. One shows the spending formula per fund. And then one shows where we were at the end of, that was the end of the fiscal year, and one is the end of January.
Yeah, there, I noticed you guys made some changes in revenue.
Did you do anything?
Not yet.
Yes.
If you would.
Yes, we increased license fees. They haven't gone up.
It'll be a test.
Lord.
We sold license with them more.
They have holes punched in them. So you can see in your books that it's like,
Okay, thanks.
So we had to.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? I haven't seen you in a bit.
I was here last week.
Okay.
I wouldn't been on time this week, but everybody had to have a viral on that.
Oh,
And now the Dutch-
well, I'm grateful that you were around for that. I told them, well, you had surgery yesterday, so
Yeah, I
we're
had
here.
surgery yesterday.
And doesn't go. No, pretty good.
Looking at you.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't go up on.
No,
Getting
yeah,
clear?
not
Yeah.
yet. I agree.
John, did you want to do a motion to adjourn?
We're still,
Guys, we're still on.
still on.
That everything was beautiful.
We all set. Entertain a motion to adjourn from the select board.
The budget committee.
I'm sorry.
We go first this time. Whoa. Does anyone want to adjourn?
No, I want to stay all night.
How about, does anyone else want to adjourn? Second on the motion?
Second.
Yeah. Second, all those in favor?
Tell Mike, they're good.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Scott.